Hello and welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 14th day of June 2017. My name is Derek, and I want to talk in this video about the Bitcoin to silver ratio, and I'll be using the silver weekly chart to go over the ratio. I'll put some numbers up on the key levels momentarily. Normally, I like to use an 18 average of highs and lows because it helps determine correctionary phases, and I usually do that with like 100, 150 periods, not so many. But when there is 52 weeks in a year, and I'm showing about 10 years worth of data, that's about 520 periods in which I'm showing. So I'm going to need a bigger moving average. So I'm using the 50 in this case, and well, it's doing a decent job at showing correctionary phases like the 18 normally would as well. But this video is not about that. It's about the ratio within Bitcoin and silver, because obviously if you decided here on the break, what do I want to do? Do I want to buy Bitcoin or silver? Well, if you buy here and you've done nothing, that means your net value in US dollars is just a little lower than where it was before. And your net value in Bitcoin, well, obviously we know the answer to that one, and the ratio is obscure, and it's obvious that's the case. And now let's go over those numbers. And back before the rally started in silver, 2010, August of that time frame, if you cashed out an ounce of silver and wanted to buy Bitcoins with it, 283 of them approximately you could have received. Of course, these numbers are very volatile. I show you these numbers, they could change so frequently, but at one of those points, that's pretty much what the numbers shown on the screen was as far as its ratio. Currently, it's around 150 to 1, which means you need 150 ounces of silver to get a Bitcoin. Or yes, 150 ounces of silver to get one Bitcoin. Back then, it was 283 Bitcoins for one silver piece. That's about a 40,000 times difference in price. So who is a smart aleck who decided, you know what, I'm going to take an ounce of silver here because someone says it's breaking out here at 17, whatever. I'm going to take this ounce of silver and I'm going to buy me some Bitcoins. Okay. Oh, 283 of them. And now today, oh, I haven't done anything with this 283. What are they worth today? How many? So I can get 40,000 pieces of silver. You know what? Let's do that. Let's get 40,000 pieces of silver. How's that investment idea working out? Of course, people buying back then. Hardly anybody knew about it back then. Not many people even today know about Bitcoin. A lot more, of course. And many people in the know of monetary policy, money and gold, silver, all that type of community sense of, or those types of people, calling it shitcoins, I myself included. So there wasn't many people that got extreme gains, but it's happening now as far as the big gains. And the ratios, when we go over these numbers, we can just see how big it is. So 62.5 on the 2011 high, which would have meant if you were considering selling silver for Bitcoin, you would have been better off selling it as it was breaking out compared to when it was 50 bucks, because you would have got over 4 times the amount of Bitcoin. And it's not really the price of silver here that's determining the ratio. It's mainly the price of Bitcoin due to silver's extreme low volatility in the comparisons. But just quickly going over the numbers, this low is 5.2 or about 5, and then 8, 2.5, 3. So now all of a sudden, you're at this point in here, and you're saying to yourself, man, I got a Bitcoin. I can actually get about 3 ounces of silver with it. Or excuse me, the opposite rather. I have, say, I got 3 Bitcoins. I can get 1 ounce of silver with 3 Bitcoins. And at the time, you're like, that sounds like a deal. Remember back in the days when Bitcoin was only 50 cents and now Bitcoin's worth Well, it's worth a lot more now. At the stage back here, of course, it was worth about $100. And then things have went more wild. And I put the R at the bottom of the 2013 one, R reverse, because it would have went from 3 down to 0.18. So just to understand the numbers more clearly this way, this is where you could get 6 ounces of silver for 1 Bitcoin. Then silver rallies and you can, same thing. Ratio didn't change from this low to this high. But then it goes from 6 to 55. Oh, really? That's it. And then we just go quickly through the numbers moving forward. 30, down to 22, down to 14. Reversal change, higher now. 31, 25, 35, 31, 50, 65, 108, 151, 151. It's wild how these numbers are moving. Now, everyone in these communities of the gold and silver, especially those who understand historical aspects, talk about the historic gold to silver ratio, 15 to 1, 16 to 1. Are we ever going to talk about the historic Bitcoin to gold ratio or even the Bitcoin to silver ratio? Well, what's the historic number? Well, I'm not going to make a case for that, but I think I'm going to make a prediction for myself. This is just what I think. That's nothing more. That this will come back to its historic ratio of 150 to 1, which, well, today's ratio. And I say come back to, because when I look at how these trends are moving, especially with WebBot stating and how the free markets are moving, it seems that the rate of ascent for Bitcoin is going to just escalate, that even if silver goes in a nice bull market, this number is still going to go higher and higher and higher. So right now, you got a Bitcoin, you can get yourself approximately 150, depending on premiums and all these types of other mumbo jumbo stuff, but you get a decent amount. And then this ratio goes up to 200, 300, 400, even 800 to 1. Who knows how high it can get? But it wouldn't surprise me if this thing does get that high and then starts to come back down. Say 800 would be at the top. Assumption speaking, of course. 800, back down to 600, 400, 200, 150. So that's what I think that could happen. But it could even after that come back to this ratio. Right where it started. If Bitcoin in 2023, or who knows, something in that nature, but Bitcoin, this does become the tulip bubble with Bitcoin. Everyone gets into it for so many years. Price goes up to 13,000, and then it gets up to 100,000 when the dollar collapses and dies at that stage. And then, of course, it's priced in gold and silver now instead, because dollars don't exist, cryptocurrencies do, precious metals do. And then the ratios just fall. Next thing you know, Bitcoin crashes in 2023, 2024. I'm just saying hypothetically on the could situation, of course, that's where we could retest the 2011 historic ratio, where all of a sudden now, oh, I got 283 Bitcoins. Do you want an ounce of silver? Just saying that could be possible. Always protect yourself in investments, understanding that risk management is job number one. Risk reward management is job number one. With all the information that I talk about, you are assuming your own risk. No, you are assuming your own risk reward, that is. Because when everyone talks about stuff, understanding the risk, and yeah, that's important. Understand the counterpart to the upside. Compare both of them together. And to me, that's what I think helps make winning investing decisions. Because the ratios for so many different things is always important to yourself when you plan on turning one asset into another. Which is why the gold to silver ratio is a very important one. The Bitcoin to both gold or silver, very important as well. I'm going to focus on silver because I plan and I am turning Bitcoins into silver, and maybe in the future, probably in the future, I might have to do the opposite. But for now, that's basically what I'm looking at. Say real estate, the Bitcoin to real estate ratio, the gold to real estate. Because if you plan on turning one of those asset classes into another, that really can help in your decision making on how you approach the situation. So just a little bit of stuff to go over again. Whatever this information is worth to you, that's what it is. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day.